Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the CLSR. And I'm your host, the counselor. And today we're going to talk about how do we deal with unwanted advances? How do we do it safely where we just take ourselves and secure ourselves and make sure that we're okay? Because there are a number of advances, unwanted advances, that are going on out there that for some reason there's a mixed message. And I don't know if it's the current climate, but it seems the aggression is growing, and there are people that just don't seem to be getting the message. And it's just turning into like a very dangerous situation out there. And what you want to do is be able to protect yourself, firstly. But how do you do that? Like, how do you deal with some of these unwanted advances? I mean, many of us have grown up talking about how we deal with it. And, a lot of people say, oh, just say no. But you got to be careful because there are individuals out there that just, I don't know, they're just not functioning very well and they don't understand the word no. It's already hard to tell someone you aren't interested when they're interested in you. Unfortunately, some of our kindest impulses can put us in danger when the other party suffers from instability or an exaggerated sense of entitlement. Like, ideally, you should feel safe saying no to attention you don't want. In many circumstances, however, it feels physically, professionally, or socially dangerous to set clear and firm boundaries. Protect yourself by saying no, getting distance from the person who asks, and by telling others. You got to tell others. How do you turn down these strangers? Well, I first would say that you have to start with no. Say no firmly, as long as it feels reasonably safe. Say no immediately. Do not smile, apologize, or say maybe. If you don't want someone, don't give them anything. Just say something like, no, I'm not interested. Do not allow anyone you don't like to touch you or stand close to you. Step back if they are too close to you, and turn away if they are taking too long to leave you alone. For instance, if you are at a party, you might say, no, I'm not interested. Then turn to your friend and suggest going to another room. Like, you might even have to lie if you need to. If you are alone and the person hitting on you threatens you or makes you feel too uncomfortable to say no, tell them a quick lie that will let you escape. You can say you need to use the bathroom, or that you forgot something in your car, or that you need to make a quick call. Get into a public place and get help. Put walls between yourself and the aggressor as quickly as you can. Unstable or inebriated people sometimes attack, even in public. So be mindful of this, right? Be aware. Awareness is everything. Don't give them any of your information. Don't give them your name, information about your job, where you live, where you're going next, or anything else. And I'm going to tell you, that sounds crazy, but there are some clients that I've dealt with who've said, yes, I did give them my information. And I would say, well, why would you do that? Why would you give that person your number? And they simply would say, hey, I felt pressured. I know it's number one thing you shouldn't do, but I was really feeling a lot of pressure, and I really didn't feel like that I had a choice, and I felt stuck. And this is quite understandable. There are people who are using their power to kind of, control others psychologically. They know that they don't want to be rejected, and they know that they have a certain element of fear that they have with them, and they try to impart this on others. So if you aren't sure yet if someone is hitting on you or bothering you, just ask why instead of answering the question, and then decided if you are being advanced on. Okay, explain that you are not interested instead of answering questions. If you are told it was just a compliment, I just want to talk to you. What do you do for work? Resist the urge to answer the question. Instead, say, I'm talking with my friends right now and I'm not interested in continuing this conversation. Get away. Whatever you do, try to get away. Once someone has made you nervous, put space between yourself and them. And if they don't leave you alone, walk away. Leave as long as you can leave safely without being followed. Leave with friends if you can. If you feel relatively safe, you can stick around, but don't agree to sit with or stand near the aggressor. Try going into another room, leaving a bar or party with friends, or moving to sit at the bar instead of at a table so that the bartender can watch out for you. And you might even have to give them a little hint that, you're worried, you're concerned, communicate it. Stay calm, if anything. If you yell at them, they will try to hurt you. Be as cool and firm as you can. Take deep breaths if you feel yourself losing your temper or getting frightened. Take special care to stay calm if you are alone, as you are more likely to be violently attacked if you're alone. So be mindful. If you are in public, an abuser may try to upset you in order to discredit you. Stay calm and make sure to let other people know what is going on. Make a report. Tell somebody that they can look out for you if necessary. If you are at a bar, tell your friends. If someone is making you uncomfortable, tell a bouncer or bartender exactly what happened so that they can keep an eye out for you and eject the person if needed. Right? Like tell them this person is threatening me or they won't stop. And maybe have them removed from the bar. You do have to be careful because that might agitate the person. So when you do that, you might have to, but make sure you get some family members to pick you up and or call the authorities if you're really worried. If this happens in the street, tell the people you can see what happened. If you were threatened, report the incident to police. I know it's scary for a lot of people, but sometimes you just got to because you don't know what's in their mind. You don't know what they're going to do. You don't know what they're capable of. You'd be surprised how many people are stalked. They are. You know, they're stocked. Some of these older boys, they're up there trying to mess with these younger girls, so they got this influence. So they know they're a little bit more experienced, so they got all the tricks. And sometimes, you know what? A lot of people say, I don't want to agitate them because it's scary. You don't want to agitate them because you don't know if they're going to escalate, if they're going to retaliate, right? You just don't know. But I'll tell you, you still have to let someone know what's going on, like a police officer, right? You want to be unambiguous. You may prefer to let down an acquaintance gently, but be very clear that you are saying no. Say only what is true and don't feel required to offer them extra details. You can offer reasons, but don't elaborate to make them feel better. They just need to hear that you are turning them down. Say, like, I value your friendship. I'm not interested in pursuing anything else with you. Or I'm not interested. And it's not okay that you asked, you know. I'm in a monogamous relationship. Now, let's say if you're seeing a person romantically and they're moving too fast, you might say, I'd like to continue to see you, but I'm not ready for the physical yet. Right? This gives them the clear message. Set clear boundaries and consequences. When you say no, let the other person know that it's a closed topic and they need to respect your boundaries. Now, we know there's a lot of people out there that just can't handle the word no. It's like not even a part of their vocabulary. However, you do have to make it clear. If you need them to treat you differently, right, you have to say no. You can't give any mixed messages, you know. They know what they're doing. They know they're coming out. They want your attention. So you got to give them that clear message. And they will keep on. So you might have to keep saying no, no, no. I don't want you to ask me again. If you do, I will not feel comfortable around you and I will not want to spend time together anymore. Right? I'm going to tell my partner. Don't give me a hard time about that. If you keep harassing me, I'll tell the rest of our friends as well. Or you could say, we can talk about this eventually, but I'd rather you not bring it up at work. If you do, I will feel violated and I will have to tell someone to protect myself. Now, that might get some eyes up, and a lot of us are afraid of that, but no, you're going to have to make it clear. Hold your boundaries. If your acquaintance crosses a line you set, enact the consequences you promise. If you don't, your acquaintance will probably not take you seriously and will continue to cross your lines. Refuse to attend gatherings at which this person is present. Do not hang out or offer friendship to someone who harasses you or makes you feel uncomfortable. Report the interactions if it's at work. Report it to the HR, the Human Resources Department. You really got to do your work. You got to follow through. Shut it down if it continues. If this is happening repeatedly and you have made it clear that you want it to stop, you are being harassed, this is unacceptable. And you should not, and I mean you should not feel that you owe this person anything. You need to do what you need to do to feel safe. Tell your mutual friends and refuse to attend any gathering at which your aggressor is present. Explain reasons to the host if you need to. If it's happening at work, report to the supervisor. Take it higher up if nobody is helping you. I know one of the scary things is we're worried about the consequences. Unfortunately, these are things you have to do. You got to make it clear. You got to be safe too. If it's happening at school, tell your teacher, the principal, and your friends. Get a restraining order if you're being contacted or visited against your will. I know it takes work. I know the courts aren't easy with it. There are a lot of victims out there who've gone to the courts and it's been a struggle, but that's what they're there for. We got to use them. We got to take ourselves seriously. And I know attending court, sometimes it will be put off and you think it's not getting anywhere. You might think, oh, I'm not really going to attend frequently because it's pissing them off and they might get agitated and aggressive. No, you have to be consistent and let that person know that you're not playing. And you have to let the authorities know that you're serious. Stay calm. You may be angry and you have every right to be. However, especially if you are alone, swearing, yelling, or otherwise venting your anger could provoke an unstable assailant to attack you, right? Take deep breaths. Tell yourself this person does not matter to me and get away as soon as you can. You could say no, but you're going to have to say it no over and over. Refuse communication. Some people give out that number, as I said, just to get the person off their back. Now, I'll give them my number, and you know what? I'm not going to answer it anyway, or I'll block them. Don't even give the number. And I've known people to give out fake numbers, and sometimes that just agitates a person. The person end up coming back or seeing you at a club, and why'd you give me a fake number? And they're just carrying on like they don't have any sense. Don't even give them that, right? Someone who has previously stalked you or crossed your boundaries may claim to have reformed, right? I'm not like that anymore. They may call and write you emails begging for a response or for a chance to see you one last time just to apologize. Refuse this, as they may be plotting something worse. If they really wanted to make it up to you, they would leave you alone. And I know some of you have been in relationships, and after you split up from those relationships, that person keeps calling you, and and you ignore them. And then when you have your moments of weakness, you pick it up and, say, leave me alone. That is still going to get that person attention because there's such a thing as positive attention and negative attention. But the truth is, it's still attention. So I strongly recommend cut it off and move forward. Do not reply to any correspondence if you are being stalked. Make sure to save the text or missed calls, as they will be evidence if this situation continues to get worse. Make sure you are not in social media showing your picture. And there's some people out there saying, well, you know what? I'm not going to just, stop my life and just because this person's stalking me. I'm not going to go off social media. I'm not going to let them control me. Listen, give yourself a break. It's not about hiding. It's like out of sight, out of mind. You shouldn't be on there because with this technology today, there's a lot of young people who are breaking in, hacking in accounts, monitoring you. Get off the internet for a while. Seriously. least give it a few months. Let it blow over. Get them out of your mind. Hopefully they move on, right? But you're going to have to document any harassment, save any letters, emails, voicemails, or other correspondence you receive from your aggressor. Take notes after any interactions, noting the time, place, and what was said and done. Photograph any alterations to your physical environment, such as roses left on your doorstep, broken windows, or creepy notes. If you need to build an HR case or case for a restraining order, this will help you. I'm telling you, just make sure you need to document everything. Don't accept open drinks, right? We heard of roofies, and roofies is not a dog, it's a drug. And what they try to do is they have to put this drug in you so you don't leave any open drinks out there, right? Because predators sometimes resort to spiking drinks with drug to render victims disoriented and amenable. If you are at a bar or other social event or someone offers you an open drink, especially someone who hit on you, refuse it. If you feel unsafe refusing it, take it politely and dispose of it discreetly. Do not drink it. I'm sorry, you don't know. Wake up one day and Lord knows your whole world has changed. Do not. If you don't know people, don't engage. Watch your glass. If anyone passes a hand over it, don't drink it. If you feel disoriented, can't remember how you got from one point to another, or otherwise feeling confused while out on the town, get your friends to take you home immediately. And I mean, get them to take you home. If one of your friends is acting up, call another friend. Don't let a stranger help you. Ask for help from a bartender, a friend, or a family member, right? Seriously. Stay in touch with friends when you party. Get out with people you trust and make a plan for the evening. Stay in touch throughout the night and make sure you have a point person, someone who is responsible, who preferably is not drinking at all, who's going to get you home safe. Make sure they are clear-minded, right? Right? Stay in touch throughout that night. It can be hard for drunk people, especially those who have been drugged, to communicate what they want or need. Some people might end up in a dangerous situation that looks casual or consensual. Make sure you or your group's point person checks in with anyone who is going home with a stranger. Make sure. Something else you want to consider is there are guys out there, and some girls too, who do that verbal bullying. And it's a psychological game that they play with you, especially once they're rejected. They might get into the verbal bullying and they feel that, well, maybe you think you're better than them. So they start going off on you, and they're really adamant about feeling insecure about themselves, but they try to push it on you and make you feel like you're less than. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, there are ways that you can deal with the verbal bullying. You might encounter verbal bullying in many areas of life, such as school, at work, or in your own social group. Think, how do you defend yourself against verbal bullying? Right? But you got to stay calm, right? When you're dealing with someone who's on a verbal attack. Then take the necessary action to prevent reoccurring attacks, right? So it's really about how you react to this verbal bullying. So once you remain calm, the whole point of verbal bullies' attack is to unsettle you. So don't give them that satisfaction. Stay calm, cool, collected despite any taunts or insults. To do this, it may help to breathe deeply. Count silently or mentally repeat an affirmation such as, I will remain calm. I will remain calm. Dismiss the person's attack, ignoring the person. It is an option. However, a more powerful response is to make it clear to the person that the remark doesn't bother you. Make eye contact with the person, then shake your head in dismissal and look away. Agree with them if it's true. Most verbal bullying is carried out because the person hopes to offend you. If you can see any truth to their comment, throw the attacker off balance by agreeing with them. When you accept the statement, it loses its power and the attacker loses relevance. For example, if someone says you're fat, you might say, "You're right, I'm fat." It just unsettles them. They start to lose their reasoning for going on the attack. You disarm them. You don't always want to say that, but you might choose that just to get them to stop harping so that you show them that they don't have the power. You're just dismissing them in your own way. You're actually taking back charge. And you want to be able to dismantle the attack. Avoid becoming defensive with the person. Instead, put the attacker in the hot seat by pulling apart their remark. Analyze the remark and ask questions about it. For example, like if someone says, "You're stupid," you might respond with, "Wow, stupid is such a strong word. Is there a reason you're trying to insult me?" However, if the bullying behavior is out of control or you feel unsafe, do not have any contact with the attacker. Just walk away. You know, if you witness someone else being verbally attacked, help defend them by bringing the attacker's calm and decency into question. In response to their bad parent role, play the role of the overly kind parent. For instance, if the attacker calls your friend a name, you might say, "Greg, name calling doesn't look good on you." Show everyone that there's a decent human being under there somewhere. They're likely going to feel ashamed by their behavior and apologize. But there are some that just go on the attack. So watch it. Be careful what you say. You're going to have to really choose an appropriate strategy, right? And you're going to have to take some sort of action. Leave if you feel unsafe. If verbal bullying makes you feel physically in danger, don't try to engage with the person any further. Leave the environment right away and go to a public space with others. Tell someone of authority. If you are a student, tell a teacher, coach, counselor. If verbal bullying happens at your workplace, talk to the supervisor, as I mentioned. If the person you tell about verbal bullying does not take action, keep telling someone until someone changes or the situation changes. Terminate your relationship with the attacker. Sometimes those who attack you verbally are supposedly people who care about you. Friends or family members may insult you or make subtle remarks that hurt your feelings. When this happens, get distance from that person. If at all possible, end the relationship and avoid the person completely. We have enough negativity in our lives. We don't need more, especially ones that are close to us. You all know that sometimes the ones closest to us hurt us the most. If you are unable to completely cut the person from your life, take measures to limit your contact with them. Also, avoid being alone with them whenever possible. Draw a boundary. I told you your boundaries are so important, but you have to draw them and enforce them. Just because someone bullies you, you don't have to play the role of victim. Stand up for yourself and let the person know that you will not accept verbal bullying. Do this by enforcing your personal boundaries. For instance, tell the person, "I refuse to be insulted. If you cannot talk to me respectfully, do not talk to me at all." You might also say, "I will not accept verbal attacks. If you continue, I will leave." You may also want to add, "You are wasting your time," because I know that only weak people bully. Now be careful with the comments because sometimes they're looking for that attention. So when you start weak, they might escalate when you start talking about how weak they are. Be careful what you say. I strongly recommend that you don't retaliate with comments because a lot of times they could be going through something. They could be cognitively disabled and going through some emotional distress, and they're just putting it on you, and you want to avoid agitating them. You need to understand that you have to identify your strengths. Verbal bullying can make you doubt yourself. The best way to overcome self doubt and improve your confidence is by recognizing your personal strength. You can do this by thinking of the traits and skills at which you excel. If you have trouble identifying your strengths, ask a friend. Write your strengths out on a sheet of paper at the start of each day and then read them aloud and play "I am," right? "I'm smart. I'm strong. I'm a good person" in front of each of your strengths, right? "I have the ability to take control of my life." For instance, you might say, "I'm an excellent bass player. I'm an excellent singer. I'm an excellent communicator. I'm kind to others. Repeat this. It is good for you. Surround yourself with supportive people. Counteract the negative effects of verbal bullying by spending time with the right people. Choose to surround yourself with positive and supportive individuals who value what you bring to the table. Reduce the time you spend with negative people. Really, they're toxic. People who criticize you or influence you to engage in unhealthy habits. Sometimes we made these our best friends, but we never really look at them and say, how good are they? And we're really insecure about, oh, can we really be around that person? If I don't have this best friend, what am I going to do? We have so many insecurities. It's unfortunate. We have to have some confidence and we have to look at our friends, the ones that we've had in our lives. Are they positive? Sure, they have their good moments, and half the time they're comforting us, but what are they doing the other half of the time? Are they being negative, or are they being critical? Are we being oversensitive? We got to look at that. One way to counteract the effects of verbal bullying is by practicing compassion. This may be hard to do to someone who says mean things about you, but don't view it as something you are doing for them. Do it for yourself. Holding on to resentment and anger will only make you suffer. Instead, choose to let those feelings go and forgive the bully, but just move on. Write them a letter describing the bullying and how it made you feel. Express everything that you would like to say to the person and read the letter aloud. Afterwards, say, despite all this, I forgive you. Then destroy the letter and all the negative feelings associated with it. Now, I've made a lot of suggestions, and how you react and respond in these situations is individual. However, I do strongly recommend that you make it clear repeatedly as many times as you have to. Say the word no. Make sure that you will inform people of what's going on. Don't assume you can handle it yourself. If it feels weird, go with your feelings. Too many of us ignore our sixth sense, and in hindsight, we kick ourselves. But the truth is, we have to really embrace our feelings, get back to what makes us feel good and what's not feeling so good. If you're not feeling comfortable, or if you get a weird feeling, acknowledge it and go with it. You don't have to be verbal about it. Just react and make sure that you're taking action. If you're not comfortable, acknowledge yourself. Understand that this is what makes us who we are. When we get this feeling that's not right, go with it. Trust your gut. And understand that the response that you make, you don't necessarily need to really retaliate, because a lot of the times that just escalates the situation, and you don't really want that, because clearly the person's giving you unwanted attention, and their reaction sometimes could turn into verbal bullying. And if it gets out of control, you're going to have to take action. If you feel any discomfort and you feel that this person is not getting it, you have to make it clear, not just to them, but to those around you. Now, fortunately, we do have social media. We do have access to all kinds of gadgets like cell phones, the computers, and you need to use those to your defense to keep you safe. And, text people. Don't wait till you're on your way home. Text someone if you're not feeling safe. Text them right away. You can do it. You can go to the bathroom, dismiss yourself. Take action to keep yourself cool. And remember, you matter. And there will be people, especially now, I find that people who've been locked up from this COVID-19, they got out, they got these new feelings, they want to communicate, they want to get some attention, because some of them, either they got laid off, or they've been in the house, or they haven't socialized. So they got to get back their social graces. And it might take them a little bit of work to do that. However, you have to be aware of this. You have to be mindful that awareness is everything, and be aware of your environment. And I'm telling you, like, watch these little conversations that people strike up. Do not engage them. If you don't know someone, be careful. Just be careful, because people will try to get your attention, and you could say no. And you can say it nicely. I've given you plenty of ways to express yourself. while getting your message across. You just want to make sure that you're very clear. And I know it's not always easy, but you're going to have to do it. Yes, you're going to have to make sure that you're clear. Unfortunately, don't give too much time to anyone. If they still look for it, sometimes you just got to ignore them, and they're not going to like it. They're going to be agitated. But remember, I really believe that for every action, whether it's verbal or nonverbal, there's a reaction. So watch them. If you know someone's coming on to you or trying to talk to you and you're just like, no, thank you, or you just have had to tell this person several times no, but they're not getting it, you want to make sure that you watch them and monitor them, because when you do say no, watch yourself, because you don't know where it could go. In many cases, it goes nowhere. But there are times where people cannot deal, especially men who want your attention, they cannot deal with rejection. There are women out there who are also into stalking. They fall for someone or they want some attention, and when someone says no, there's a lot it could snowball into, and you don't want that. But the clearer you are, the better you are. But you need to be aware, because for every action, there's a reaction. And sometimes the person will go away nicely, or just smile and move on. Hopefully that's the case. Well, I want to say we talked about a subject that needs to be spoken about. And I want to thank all my listeners. And remember, be like the wise old bird and spread the word. I mean, do that. The counselor is there. I want to make lives better. I want us to be aware. I want us to take care of ourselves. I want you to understand that you're important. And I also want you to understand you're going to go through your highs and your lows. We've come to a place in society where it seems like everything always has to be on the high. Well, no. Life's gonna have its ups and downs, and the more you realize that, even if you're going through some sadness or a breakup, you're gonna go through your ups and downs. And when you go through your downs, realize in the future you'll go through some ups and things will go better. If you're going through some ups, enjoy them and appreciate life. When you're going through some downs, reach out, get support, and understand it. 99.9% of the time, it doesn't last long. If it does last long, get some support, get some help, tell people. I know it's not easy to do, but you can do it. Well, thank you, people, and I want you to take care of yourself.